Hey, what's going on, family? We're going to talk about this article written from, let me see, The Guardian. Okay, it's talking about how Meta lost $190 billion after reported earnings, apparently off of information that is going to increase spending on artificial intelligence. Now, does that equate to $190 billion worth of value being wiped off of the books of Meta? Let's make it make sense. Because to me, it doesn't. Meta value falls $190 billion as investors react to plan to increase spending on AI. This is what The Guardian wants to bring to its readers. What if that's not the case? Do you really think that's the only thing that pushed Meta stock price down? So why would they grab this one thing and make it seem as if it's the biggest reason as to why the value of Meta stock went down? Shares slumped 15% after Mark Zuckerberg said AI spending would have to grow before Meta could make much revenue from products. Shares in Meta slumped 15% when Wall Street opened on Thursday, wiping about $190 billion off the value of Facebook and Instagram parent company as investors reacted to a pledge to ramp up spending on artificial intelligence. So let me ask yourself a question. If you were the CEO of Meta, right? And you told your investors, yeah, we're going to have to put a little bit more money into artificial intelligence. Is that a bad thing? You don't think that you being a CEO, you're looking long term, you're thinking long term and say, okay, where will the world be in the next 5 years? If you had to make an investment, where would you place your money? The revenue that your company is making, where would you place it? Because you need it to be in an area to where ground is fertile, right? That's what you need to put the money. So Mark is pretty much telling the investors, hey, this is where I'm seeing the world going in the next couple of years in artificial intelligence. So let's dump some of our money into the fertile ground of artificial intelligence and let's see what comes up. Mark Zuckerberg, Meta's founder and chief executive, said on a conference call on Wednesday that spending on the technology will have to grow, quote, meaningfully before the company can make much revenue from new AI products. Do you think a lot of people are placing their hopes, their profit off of artificial intelligence? And what if it becomes a dud? Like, what if artificial intelligence only has such high it can go? Right? How far do you think humans will continue to push this technology to see what it can get? I think they're going to continue to push, especially considering when money is involved. And you can see in this situation right here with Meta, Mark is pretty much saying, look, we're going to have to dump a whole lot of money to artificial intelligence because this is the way of the world. And we don't know what we're going to get. We don't know if we're able to make revenue from the information, the technology that we create from artificial intelligence. But best believe they're going to try. They're going to try to make something out of artificial intelligence that will allow them to make billions of dollars off of their investment. So is that a bad thing? Then why did the stock lose $190 billion? Shares in Meta had been boosted in 2023 by Zuckerberg's tough action on costs in what he described as a year of efficiency. A relaxation of that restraint had routed investors as the Meta raised the upper bound of its capital expenditure guidance on Wednesday from $37 billion to $40 billion. They got to expend more of those revenue or resources. Last week, here's their AI model right there, Llama 3. Meta released Llama 3, the latest version of its AI model, alongside an image generator that updates pictures in real time while users type prompts. The company's AI-powered assistant, Meta AI, is expanding to its platforms in more than a dozen markets outside the US with the update. Why are they not dumping this into the US? Why are they giving it to Australia, Canada, Singapore, Nigeria, and Pakistan? Chris Cox, Meta's chief product officer, said the company was, quote, still working on the right way to do this in Europe. So they're utilizing these other places as guinea pigs, test runs, experiments. The share decline follows a record gain in market value by Meta in February. So why would the market in Meta fall like this, down 10.5% on the day? Why? Is it because Mark has to put more money into artificial intelligence? No, not to me. That's not the reason. I'm going to show you off this chart the reason as to why I suspect the market had to fall the way that it did. So let me zoom out. Okay. And I want to show you something. Do you see anything that stands out at you? Anything off this chart? What happened here back in 2022? You see that void right there? What does that mean? What about this one? See that? Now this really wasn't a void because the market in the Meta has already traded at that price area. So that's not necessarily a void or a gap that people like to say. But this one was. Wait. No, it wasn't a gap because the market has already traded here too. Okay. So this is not a gap neither or a void. So let me take that off. But what was a gap? Because as I zoom out, you can see that there's no history of pricing action at all in Meta. So from, I would say, from this area, the high of January 30, 2024 to the low. So it looked like it went from $405, give or take, all the way up to $450 was a gap, meaning that there hasn't been any trades at all into the market, at least while the market was open. Okay, it may have happened on dark pools. I understand you guys look deep into all of that. But the chart doesn't reflect that there was efficient trading going on into the market there. So logically thinking, you would have to say that price has to come back down and try to trade that area to create an efficient market. We got to have people here who are in positions, who are holding stock at prices so that when the market comes back down, it has an area to grab. It has an area to hold on to. We have a pool of people, of sellers and buyers all mixed in within that $405 to $450 range. That wasn't the case back in the beginning of the year. So we have all of these people up here who's been trading above an unstable floor. There's nothing there. It's like they're just elevated. There's nothing that's keeping them stable, keeping them up. So when earnings came out, that gave the market opportunity to come and create that floor so that the people who are stuck up here, they won't have to go out and crash out. Well, seeing it now, you may think that they did crash out because the market ended down 10.5%. But thinking long term, that's why the market came down to fill this, to create a stair, to create a foundation, stability. Because without this area being created and filled, you are literally having an area that is not being supported right there. Okay. Which is why when we did our price prediction in Meta back in March, we had our idea that the stock was going to go down already. We was already seeing it because of this right here. So whoever caused this massive move to the downside in Meta were the ones who initiated it here back in March. And then they did it again when the market came back up to that sell zone right here. So yes, even though it may have hit our area of resistance, I understand this is just a ballpark figure, a range as to where you can see this was I was already talking about this. And this is where the market topped out in Meta. And since then, that's when it completely fell off. And it almost filled the void. Let's see. So now we have a smaller gap into Meta. From the low that happened yesterday to the high. It's probably about 3.3% now. When it was created, it was around 13%. So the market did wipe out 10%. So now we actually got people here, traders here, investors here, who saw this as a buying opportunity. That's why the market went up on the trading day, because they still believe in Meta. Like, all hope is not lost in Meta. People saw this as a buying opportunity. That's why the volume is astronomical. So we've definitely seen people fill up their accounts with this stock again. They're like, this is cheap. We still support Zuckerberg and Meta. Now, this area right here is now going to be seen as resistance though. Let me see this on 330. Okay, so let me get rid of that. We're going to create another sell zone into the market for Meta right there. Okay. And this is the newest buy zone right here. So now we got the area to where we have shown where the buyers are. They're down here, sellers are up there. Let's see if I could get it tighter. Okay, so I would say that we need to be careful with price in Meta. Let me see this on the 90. Come into this area right here. Okay, so that's going to be my first target right here. This would be my second target. And then this would be my third. So back on the daily. Just going to go ahead and put this on the chart. So that's 3.32% on our first target. Second target will be around 4 3/4. And then our third target is around 8%. Okay. And that is going to be contingent on Meta holding this buy zone right there. Bring it in a little bit closer. All right, so that's it. Give me your thoughts. Make sure you maintain your profitability. And as always, trade different.